Testing.
I know, thank you. So different. Yes. All right, I think we can start the live stream, yeah? All right. Uh, Good evening, and thank you for your patience. I invite all the board members, administration, and community to stand at attention, face the flag, right hand over the heart, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much. And again, overdue, and I apologize once again. So pass it on to Dr. Lenart for our student spotlight for District 115.
Awesome, thank you. And this is our second District 115 spotlight of the school year. We're only going to do about 5 of these, so it's a very special night, I know, for our nominees as well as this month's winner, this board meeting's winner. So the District 115 spotlight is something that was developed to identify students who exemplify the mission and the vision and the values of Lake Forest High School. And that really is about character, about inspiration, and about making a difference in our community. So the students who are nominated by their teachers because they are actually exhibiting these values. This month we had 4 students who were nominated, Ellie Villanueva, Campbell Gore, and Tyler Clays. And about Ellie and Campbell and Tyler, I heard all about their resilience, their intelligence, that they've been an inspiration to other students, and their character. But we had one student who was nominated by 2 different staff members, and that student who's here tonight is this month's Spotlight winner. This month, we are going to recognize as the District 115 Board Spotlight winner, Gavin Stakes. Congratulations, Gavin. I have lots of great characteristics of Gavin that were part of the nomination. Compassionate and positive presence, resilient leader, knowledgeable and engaged learner, but I'm not going to do the talking because both Mr. Jacob and Ms. Lorenz are here to speak about why you are so awesome, Gavin. So I'll hand the microphone over to them.
Test. Hello, everyone. I have gotten to know Gavin through 7th period ARC Environmental Geoscience with Mrs. Lorenz as well. When we went on a field trip to Ellowa Farm, Gavin quickly established himself as the leader in participation, active listening, and content knowledge, not only in our class, but in a mixed group of about 10 students from several sections of environmental geoscience. Gavin is our anchor. Every day he fights adversity and wins, and still has positive energy left over to share with others. It is truly a blessing to have him in our class and to see the positive effect his presence has on other students. When Gavin graduates, we will sorely miss him, but we know with all the intelligence, character, leadership, and resilience he possesses, he will go far after he walks across the stage.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Lorenz, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to recognize one of our outstanding students this evening. I have had the privilege of knowing Gavin for the past 3 years, and during that time, I have seen tremendous growth and maturity and a confidence from him that just exemplifies the Lake Forest Scout way. Gavin has truly become an anchor. We both share the same sentiment in our classroom. He leads not by being the loudest voice in the room, but by being consistent, reliable, and someone others naturally look to as for guidance. I myself look to you for guidance, Gavin. His presence sets the tone. He's steady, positive, and focused. Gavin brings a wonderful energy to our classroom. He's bright, thoughtful, and deeply personable. He's the kind of student who can adapt to challenges with a very calm and flexible mindset, which is what we, again, want to see in our students as they're getting ready to launch into his senior year and onward. Gavin often meets all the expectations and exceeds them. What stands out the most for us is not just your academic ability, Gavin, but the way that you treat others with kindness, respect, and genuine care. You're a student who makes our classroom a better place just by being a part of it. Start crying. We are incredibly proud of the work you have done and the growth that you continue to show. Gavin, you're very deserving of the Student Spotlight recognition, and I am so grateful to be able to celebrate with you this evening and your family. So congratulations, friend.
Gavin, would you like to say something? I love it.
I
This
don't
is your
really
chance. It's
prepare a
open mic.
speech or anything, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and go Scouts.
That's always good. Gavin, we actually have an award for you, so if you can come up and take a picture with the board as well, we will take a picture together. And you have been waiting a long time. You're free to go in between before we begin our report. Thank you so much for waiting. Thank you, Ms. Lorenz, Mr. Jake. Thank you for the nomination as well.
Right. Well, that was cool, so thank you. And so it's time for President's Report, so that's a good time to clear the room. So that was awesome. I can clear the room for me. Just a couple little things, and then I will, Annie Helms, our Vice President, was unable to get back in time from a DC trip she was needing to do for her firm. And so she wrote a couple little things that I wanted just to read out real quick, and then I'll do the report. And she just wanted to apologize that she was not able to be here this evening due to the work commitments, and she's especially sorry as she considers the discussion around the adoption of our annual tax levy as one of the most important decisions that we as a board make. As an elected official and a taxpayer, I take this responsibility very seriously. The public should know that this board asks difficult questions of the administration every year before taking this vote on the levy, and it is not something that we rubber stamp or take lightly. At this same time, we know, again, as taxpayers who care about our property values, how important it is to have a top-tier school in our district. It is with this in mind that I'll write my voice to support the tentative levy. Even though I cannot be here in person to vote, I will be present in the December meeting when we make our final decisions and look forward to casting my vote at that time. So thank you, Annie, for writing that up. All right. So good evening. Thank you all for being here tonight. I wanted to begin by acknowledging Veterans Day and recognize the meaningful assembly that was held earlier today at Lake Forest High School in partnership with Lake Forest and Lake Bluff American Legion Post 264. To our veterans and to our families who have supported them, thank you. Your commitment to service, sacrifice, and country is an enduring example for our schools and our broader community. We are grateful for the values you model for our students and for the standard of integrity, courage, and civic responsibility you set for all of us. Tonight, Drs. Montgomery, Lenart, and Fitzsimmons will share the details behind our exemplary designation from the Illinois State Board of Education, so I will not preempt their presentation. Instead, I want to simply say, great work. This recognition reflects the sustained commitment of our teachers, staff, and administrators, their drive to strengthen our educational system, refine our approach, and invest countless hours to make this a truly exceptional place for our students and our community. In addition, I'd like to preview some work that has been underway for some time and related more clearly to communicating our financial philosophy. Prior to the referendum, we made important updates to our fund balance policy and shared our intentions on how the referendum would be executed, including potential contingencies based on what we might learn as the construction progresses. Regarding our construction at the high school, we are now approaching a midpoint of construction phase 1, and as we do so, we will bring forward an updated financial outlook and reinforce the principles guiding our approach. You can expect this work to unfold over the next several months. And finally, on our Portrait of a Learner, we plan to reconvene our Tri-District Portrait of a Learner Planning Group in March of 2026. This session will allow us to revisit and refresh the work created several years ago, while also gathering meaningful feedback on how our communities perceive the progress to date and the direction we are taking. We'll use this time to reaffirm and refine our strategies so that they can continue to align with our shared aspirations and path forward. More information on this effort will also be shared in the coming months. As always, there is a great deal happening at Lake Forest High School, and the entire team continues to deliver exceptional work. The depth and complexity of these efforts make it difficult to capture everything in just a few comments or a single message. I also want to note how much this board appreciates the work of our communications team. Thank you for the consistently presenting information in the ways that allow our community to understand, reflect, and engage on their own terms. We will continue to get all of the information out in the ways we can, and if there are things that you need as a community to see or better understand, please ask or call. We are here to serve and be your voice. Thank you. This concludes the President's report, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Montgomery and his team.
Thank you so much, Mr. Noble. I appreciate your report as always and look forward to the work ahead, particularly as we dive deeper into the financial forecasting for the district. Tonight's superintendent's report will cover numerous topics, starting from the report card and finishing with upcoming events. I cannot believe we are in November and it's getting dark at 4:40, but it is. And we are excited and grateful because it is the month of gratitude. So we will start with the report card itself. We had been talking all fall and excited about the results that we were seeing on the back end that were embargoed, that we could not share with the community. Thankfully, that time has passed since October 30th, and we have been talking about it an awful lot as we continue to get deeper into our analysis and communication with the community of where we landed and This is, I'm thrilled to say that this is actually our 4th year in a row where we have achieved the exemplary status. And I'm going to kick it over to Dr. Fitzsimmons as she starts the discussion about how we fared in the individual categories.
Thank you, Dr. Montgomery. This image here is a representation of all of the different indicators that the state will weigh and value in terms of how we receive that designation. So you can see at the top our score of 93.49 put us into that exemplary category. And I'll dive into a little bit more about what some of those indicators look like and why we did or did not receive those full points. So in the next slide, you'll see specifically that we had an indicator of chronic absenteeism that you may have noticed went up from 7.9% last year. We were excited about how that was declining, and now we are back up, and that unfortunately we are at 9.3% this year. So that affected our ability to receive a full 10 percentage points. We had an 8.24. What that says is that 9.3% of our students are considered chronically absent. That means that they miss 17 or more days of the school year, which represents 10% of their learning. And we always say the best ability is availability, so we ask parents to be sure to send their students to school because that attendance really matters. In looking at our graduation rate, we did receive full points, but you may have noticed that we declined slightly to 96% this year. This was a direct outcome of some of our scouts continuing into the transition program, which simply means those are some students with IEPs or paperwork. They just weren't ready to receive that diploma yet, but they are continuing on in that program, and we're very proud of that program, and we've invested a lot of time and people in that program. In terms of our climate survey, we did not receive full points here either, but this is an important message for parents. The climate survey is one of the surveys that the state mandates that we take. It indicates how we're feeling as a community. Many of our board priorities and our strategic plan metrics are set around this. This score here of 4.32 represents our fact that we did not have full participation. We need to have 95% or more of our students taking this and staff taking this. If we have opt-outs, and we had record opt-outs last year, that will give us a lesser score. So just a reminder to our parents that by not taking it, or our students by not taking it, that actually indicates a form of culture which the state values, and that also helps us really change our programming and do everything that we can to make this an amazing place here at Lake Forest High School. Jumping to our next slide, you will see that the board has identified a consistent set of comparable peer districts to ensure that we're benchmarking our performance against schools similar in size, demographics, and expectations. So this comparison here highlights how our students perform relative to these peers. So for example, you'll see in the top left, that's our ELA proficiency score. And at Lake Forest this year, 85.5% of our students met or exceeded the state proficiency benchmarks, and that was for ELA. In the second square, you'll see that as our math proficiency. 77.6% of our students met those benchmarks. That is with our state right-sized proficiency marks. So what we want you to understand with that is, Dr. Leonard will provide some more information on what that looks like with the old concordance table from SAT to ACT. But this still here, if you see against our peer districts, it still shows this is how we are faring according to our peers. And also at the bottom, you might notice, by contrast, science did proficiency-wise decline a little bit. We're still comparable with our peers, but that is because the state, when they right-sized, you'll remember, they actually raised those cut scores, ultimately showing a slight, what may look like a decline in proficiency. But those are important messages for us to know. We have to focus very strongly on what we're doing with science, our career pathways, and making sure we're preparing our students for the demands of the future. And as a reminder, the state accountability measure reflects only 11th grade performance on the ACT. In that regard, I'd love to turn it over to our students who are with us. I know one of you was maybe going to speak just on your experiences with the ACT when you were juniors.
Yeah, I took the ACT. I took like multiple tests, and I took one originally in September last year, so I kind of set a benchmark for myself because I took the PSAT through school instead of the PACT, and I didn't score well on that. So I went in. My mom signed me up for the workshops on the weekend that Mr. Hain and I'm blanking right now, but they
Mr.
set up-
Abrams?
Yeah, Dr. Abrams set up for us.
Dr. Abrams.
So I went and took those, and that improved my score a bunch. And I also got a tutor outside of school who helped me out a lot, and I got my score up to where I wanted it to be. So I think overall I had a positive experience. I took more tests than I obviously intended on taking, but I mean I think it's a positive to get to where you want to be since it's such an important test for us students. But I've also been hearing some feedback about those diagnostics, and I know some people were a little angry about how there was like you took half digital and half paper in the fall this year. Obviously, I didn't take that, but I know that they were a little bit angry by that because that's not exactly preparing them for it. So I think that they would rather either have an option for full paper or for full technology. But overall, I think I had a positive experience, and I'm really glad about all the resources that were available to me and just all the support overall from the faculty.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That does speak volumes and is a testament to everything that Lake Forest High School offers to our students. And as right before I turn over to Dr. Lennart, one of the things we wanted to just share is, as a reminder, proficiency means the percentage of students who are meeting or exceeding those standards. Percentile really is a ranking within the other schools in the state of Illinois. We just happen to extrapolate those peer districts. And now a very important consideration is growth, because next year our report card will be shifting considerably with the algorithm and how we are designated, and growth will be a critical component for us to consider. We have very good news with that, though, this year.
Thank you. Great. So thank you, and thank you for talking about the ACT, Ethan. I know that even with the pre-ACT on the weekend, we're experiencing some challenges because we can't give a digital pre-ACT on the weekend. So there are still some things that I know that the state and the ACT Corporation are working through as well. So great news, and this is something that is actually available on our school report card, but it's not part of the metric yet. It will be, and I'll talk about what we are expecting or anticipating the state to do with student growth, as they've already published that. But when you look at student growth for Lake Forest High School, again, a metric that's published, on average, if you look at our ELA student growth, our students grew more than 67.1% of similar scoring students in English. That might not seem like enough, and it's certainly not enough for us. However, that makes Lake Forest High School #1 in growth in ELA in the state of Illinois. That's #1 in districts and #1 in high schools as well, to include selective enrollment high schools. So I think #2, if you see there, is the University of Illinois. That's their lab school at the University of Illinois. So these are very selective schools that are actually part of this ranking as well. I believe there are 703. And then if you look at math, we have more good news. On average, our students grew more than 61.7% of similar scoring students in math. So that makes us 2 of Illinois school districts and 4 of Illinois high schools. One of the 4 Illinois high schools is New Trier High School, but it's only the freshman campus. That's #1, because actually the state reports separating them out. Still, they did very well as a district, but that is the campus that's actually over Lake Forest High School. I know that's a campus that one of our board members knows very well too, especially last year. But that's something that, as we look at the data, we celebrate the growth of our students because they really are exceptional, and as we have evidence now, exceptional to the growth of other Illinois students as well. So we're very proud of that, and we're eager to see how growth actually works in the calculation moving forward. ACT concordance, and this is something, as we look at the board's priorities around academic excellence, this is something that we worked hard on at Lake Forest High School. Not only when you hear Ethan talking about the opportunities in Ed Committee, the board and other Ed Committee members heard a lot about all of the different programs that we've stood up at Lake Forest to support students in the ACT, to include Tier 1 interventions in the classroom, all the way to more targeted interventions where we are volunteering students to come to some ACT opportunities. Certainly they can opt out, but we want to make sure that every student has the opportunity to do well. So as we're looking at the board's priority in academic excellence, we know that we need to grow in our SAT, now ACT scores. Knowing that the state shifted to ACT this year and that they would be looking at right-sizing the metrics, we wanted to have an honest and transparent look at how did that 11th grade cohort grow, because we are accountable to the board's priorities. The only metric that we had really was the ACT concordance data, and this was developed with the College Board and the ACT Corporation together. It's something that's promoted by the state of Illinois. This is the only way for us to really measure cohort to cohort during a transition year. And as we look at that, we see that last year's juniors, this year's seniors, we have 3 of them sitting in front of us now. In math, they grew 3.8% to 69.4, and then in English, 72.1%. So that's a 3.9% increase. Our board's priority would have us go about 3.9%, so we're slightly short in math, but we're working on it, and we know as we have actually grown our math program to add more classes, we know that that's a target that we will hit. I'm going to say this is probably the last year that we're going to look at concordance like this, because we now have a baseline. We have this year's juniors and we have right-sized metrics. So moving forward, we're not going to keep doing this concordance to the old data. But we just wanted to show the board that we are working to improve and grow, and that all of the supports that you are supporting as a board certainly are helping our students. Thank you. So what's next? This is something we're keeping our eyes on. We have more than one eye, our eyes on as a team. And this is really thinking about how ISBE is moving and redesigning the report card and what's essential for schools. And what we see here, this is a draft that ISBE has pushed out to school districts, and this is what they're seeking feedback on. And we still see the proficiency marker being a percentage of it, but then we also see the composite growth being a percentage of it. So we know growth is going to be in the new calculation. Graduation rate will remain in the calculation. We're doing very well, as Dr. Fitzsimmons reported. English language learner progress, which is currently in the calculation, we expect that will probably be a larger chunk. We just don't know how much. And that is something that we focused on, is incentivizing our staff members to receive multilingual endorsements, continuing to explore ways to incentivize staff members to do so, and continuing to offer more multilanguage learner classes and integrated classes as well. We also see that we're seeing a shift. I don't see chronic absenteeism here. They're actually calling it consistent attendance, which is a different measurement. I don't know which way the state's going to go. We're going to continue to focus on attendance mattering and making sure that our students are coming to school and understand availability is the best ability. I like that. Dr. Fitzsimmons, that was really good. The climate survey continues to be a major part as well. So in its participation on the climate survey, we can't say that enough. Most recently, we're really proud to report, speaking of proficiency in ACT, Mr. Lesniak and Mr. Hain led a virtual ACT night. I think we had over 70 people logged in, I think over 80 at one time, but 70 consistently throughout. Some great questions were asked, and the many resources that Lake Forest High School has were shared with the community. That is something that was recorded and is available to the community as well. Just in alignment with the board's goals, we also have upcoming presentations at the next few board meetings. We'll do a thorough assessment report. Mr. Lesniak will be doing that in December. He'll talk about dual credit, and he will also talk about ACT, SAT proficiency and concordance more, and more in depth as well. We'll also see in February, that's all right, sorry. We will also see in February, Dr. Sasson will lean into the post-secondary landscape report, talking about college and career readiness and our pathways. And then Mr. Burkhalter and Ms. Malik are back with our extracurricular and activities report in April. Something that was really exciting that we hosted a few weeks ago was a strategic update with the Superintendent's Advisory Council. We also had the Spirit of 67 present, and we invited members of all 3 boards, District 67, District 115, and District 65. And we had a really great turnout. Probably 50 or so community members were there in total, and a number of Lake Forest High School's team was there. We did plan, of course, to tour the newer parts of the building from the referendum and from the project over the summer, but what we really wanted to do was lean in to the board's priorities and the board's current strategic plan and receive feedback from the community on how they thought we were doing. Next slide. And so we got a few key takeaways from the community members who were there, and stakeholder feedback is crucial to our goal setting. One of the things that really surfaced were, of course, that we have a strong academic focus, but they also want us to expand and think about expanding career pathways, mentorships, being really clear in how that counts on transcripts, how we're actually supporting students in their understanding of that. And then also, one bit of feedback, as we think about increasing AP participation, as we think about increasing ACT scores, understanding that that's not the identity of every single student. This was strong feedback from the advisory council, and how are we making sure that every student sees themselves at Lake Forest High School. Another big thing, very excited to see the extracurricular goals that we have in the board's priorities, and that there is that investment in ensuring students see themselves, whether it be on the field or on the stage or on the court. But understanding that we still need to focus on student wellness. Some of our students are feeling very overcommitted and overwhelmed, and we even heard that from some of our student reps and ed committee. So how are we making sure that that's part of a goal setting? Really looking at the dashboard, the board priorities, the current dashboard and the website, the board priorities and the strategic plan, and the advisory council and the members who were there that day, they see it. They see the plan and they see how it aligns, and they're thankful and grateful for a hyper focus on academic excellence, for a focus on seeing every student, but making sure that that's really clear to the community. So maybe creating some other avenues for us to create more streamlined documents so the community sees this is the through line, and this is the hard work of District 115 that we're answering to and for year over year. And then they just expressed a deep appreciation for the work of Lake Forest High School, for a focus on academic excellence, and for the board's commitment to it. Is this me?
Well, so
Can be us?
today, Aaron, you could do,
I can, because I have
I
a
mean,
veteran
you were
at
on the
home.
stage today.
I have
was
a
in the
veteran at
audience.
home. This was our Veterans Day ceremony, and I really think, we've had, over the last 5 years, it's an awesome day because American Legion Post 264 partners with our school. They plan with our school. Ashley Malik leads alongside them. Today was just a really special day as we heard from a Lake Forest College football coach who is a retired Navy SEAL of 28 years and gave an absolutely amazing speech about his time in service. It was real, and it was his time in service. And I was reminiscing about years past whenever I would hear my husband talking about service, especially service during combat, and talking about that with his colleagues as well and his fellow officers and soldiers. So it was just an incredible day. And Gianna Carrar was the winner of the American Legion Award, but we had a number of other scouts who were honored for their artwork too. So, and I always have to say, year after year, at this table, we have a mom of 3 veterans, all 3 of her sons serving, and that's Miss Oakley. And I think that just speaks volume about her and Bill and about who they are as people, that all 3 of her sons have served in the United States military. So. Thank you, Melissa, and thank you to your sons for their service, too.
It is, if you have not been to one of these ceremonies, I would encourage you to come to next year's. It is one of my favorite days because there is an opportunity for everybody to be involved. Whether we have students on the stage, we have students in the audience, we solicit pictures of veterans that are important to the faculty that have served our families and our countries, and I will tell you it's a special experience. So thank you for everybody making it that, especially the American Legion Post. Next topic I'd like to touch on is the Grateful Market, which looked a little different than in years past, but was exceptionally successful in that we pivoted from having the event in Waukegan to preparing all of the donated items together at LFHS on October 19th. There were 580 or so student volunteers that were participating, and we packed over 125 bags of toiletries and organized hundreds of pantry items that then were delivered to the Waukegan community. There was $2,410 of monetary donation collected to support the market. And while, again, the format looked different, the impact was just as great. And I want to thank Ashley and Melissa as we pivoted real time to make sure that we could support these communities in need. Beyond the Budget, Episode 2 has been released within the last 2 to 3 weeks. This video explains what happens after the budget is finalized, including 5-year projections, annual audits, and year-end checks, highlighting the district's focus on accuracy, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. Episode 3 will be coming mid-December, which is titled Understanding the Tax Levy, which is apropos given what the board action will be in December, and it'll break down how the levy is determined and what it means for our community. Earlier this year, we released the first Beyond the Budget video, which was an overview of the entire budgeting process to educate the community on school finances and show how public funds are responsibly used to support students. As a reminder, this video, along with full financial reports and documents, are on the 115 website and are available to anybody who would choose to engage in the topic. I will tell you that we're making a concerted effort to reach out more around education of the district finances and fiscal responsibility through the Beyond the Budget or the Bottom Line publication. This board continues to challenge or charge the administration to make sure that we are sharing facts with this community on a regular basis and considering how we can continue to improve how we are managing the district finances. We had a robust conversation tonight at workshop. There will be more coming, as John alluded in his president's report. On November 3rd, which was last Monday, I had the opportunity to host Jeff Salingo, who is the author of a New York Times bestselling book called Dream School. There was approximately I'm going to guess 100 people, more than 100 people that were in attendance. It was probably the most, it was the greatest attendance I've seen in a fan event that we've hosted. And we just started partnering with FAN in the last 3 years. I couldn't be more thrilled that we are partnering with Lonnie and FAN because of the access that she and the network has to really novel thinkers across the country. And this book was exceptionally timely to anybody who was looking at colleges in the near future or in the foreseeable future. So I was pleased to have that opportunity. And Mr. Salingo said, anything we need in the future, please make sure you reach out. And those are great connections for the community as we continue to support all of our families that are going through the college selection process. On October 21st, we had our joint board coffee. This was exceptionally attended to. I think we had around 20 people. Sometimes we have 0, but this time we had 20, and we had many topics introduced. I want to thank the additional board members who additionally were in attendance from both boards. And the topics that we discussed were career pathways, special education, and multi-tiered systems of support, and the status of our current construction. It was a great representation of multiple board members from across the districts and community members, and it is a great opportunity for anybody who is interested in coming to the next one, which is in, I don't have it in front of me, I want to say February, which we have this posted. But it's an opportunity to have informal conversations with the administration and the board around any topic of interest. So I encourage you to attend the next one. It is, we celebrate school board members twice a year, and that is not enough. But I want to make sure that we acknowledge that on November 15th, it is one of my favorite days, it is my mother's birthday, that it is Illinois School Board Member Day. Know that there is a second time later in the winter where we will celebrate you again, but I would be remiss if I didn't give you the shout out on the actual day for Illinois. Thank you for your service. Not many people realize how much work goes into serving the community, and you see a small portion of the video recorded time together in the regular meeting, but it is many, many more hours than that, and without a supportive board, we would not have the district that we have today. So thank you for your service. Upcoming events, we have our freshman and sophomore fall play coming up on November 20th to 22nd in the Little Theater. We have the alumni panel, which is on November that's not correct. It's November 24th, forgive me, November 24th in the RMA. November 27th is actually Thanksgiving. It's my wife's birthday. I don't know why we have a month of birthdays on the slide deck today, but I don't know why I'm sharing it either, but I guess it's just, I care about my family, I guess. So we also have Thanksgiving break, which will be here before we know it, which is November 26th to the 28th. And then the band, orchestra, concert, spaghetti, dinner, and choral concert is on December 7th at in the RMA and cafeteria. With that being said, it is the month of gratitude, so thank you all for everything that you do to support me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you, sir. And thank you all. Appreciate it. Really great news. So I don't know if there's any comments or questions for Matt, Aaron, or Dr. Fitzsimmons. All right. We will move on to, please.
Just, on the fan events, they're so wonderful, and I do believe they are recorded and put on their website later. So if you missed last Monday, I think there'll be an opportunity to see that. It's a great author.
Good point. Thank you, Gail. I forgot.
Thank you, Gail. All right, at this time, public participation. So seeing none, we're going to jump to the next thing. So liaison reports, EdRed legislative update. There's a bit more coming probably in December, but we do have a thing that we're doing with IASB, which is recommending or approving items around their bylaws, or their constitution as they call it. So there's some perfunctory support for that, and then they have simply one resolution around some transportation stuff. So it's not as an eventful year with an IASB, but needless to say, we'll be having that in our agenda down below. At this point, throw it over to the next update on the True North Cooperative from Amy and or Matt, depending on any update there.
Next week on Wednesday, the 19th, we will have a November meeting with True North where the council will be asked to approve the second reading of the updated Articles of Agreement. The first reading was in the October meeting. There have been changes through a red line version, and while not substantive enough to change the first reading, there will be an update based on feedback from the member districts. So that'll happen next Wednesday. And then there is the ask that by the end of the month, every district confirms whether they are continuing to remain in the cooperative or to part ways. There was a debate between some districts on whether or not they were going to take a formal action, which I'm not discrediting this at all because everybody operates differently. I decided not to bring to you a motion to withdraw our withdrawal. Based on the conversations that we had previously, I have shared with True North that, bless you, that we are intending on staying with the cooperative moving forward. And just know that if you read about some districts taking a motion to rescind their withdrawal, that's a formality that we don't have to do, but some districts are doing, and I decided not to based on our understanding that both 67 and 115 intend on staying with the cooperative, and I let them know accordingly.
All right, thank you for that.
I'm sorry, yep. There's more details. So my mind, neurons. So December then, there will be yet another meeting to wrap everything up in terms of the current governance structure. And there will be a transition in January, should all of these things get approved, where the superintendents will then be advising the executive directors on a monthly meeting, and then the governing board will be meeting twice a year. So it will switch from the governing board meeting bi-monthly when things are going swimmingly, monthly as of late, where now the superintendents will take that direct role with the co-executive directors, and then the governing board will meet the statutorily required 2 meetings a year.
And thank you for the time from both of you. I know it's a bit tireless on that one, and the complexity, and to try to get it right-sized and right-forwarded, I guess, whatever I don't know if that's a real word or not. I don't think so. All right, on to action items. May I have a motion to adopt the 2025 tentative tax levy?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, or do we want to, I think, to give a little context of how this steps in, Jen, if you don't mind, into then the ongoing in regards to then what we'll see next month? I know you covered it a little bit earlier, but just for the record on this, that'd be great.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. So this is the tentative tax levy that you're voting on tonight. This will come back for a final tax levy approval with the board in December. In between now and then, we are going to continue to work some exercises looking at our 5-year financial forecast, taking in some conversations, some feedback that we had at the earlier discussion, and bringing that for review to the board before that final vote. It is a Finance and Operations Committee meeting prior to the board meeting in December, and that's where we will have that discussion.
Thank you. And then that would go back to a final decision, I think, what, March 15th is when we finish, and then that all of that stuff with the county then rolls into what we see as taxpayers for the June and September payments that
That's
we see,
correct.
and that's for then the following year of what you build your budget for.
Exactly. So this is the final approval will be in December. That's the final approval of your levy. You have the opportunity to make changes to that levy. You can reduce it, you can increase it, past that December date up until the point in time that the county finalizes their final information, which is typically around the March-April timeframe. At that point, they will start to prepare their tax bills. Those will hit the mailboxes shortly thereafter, with first installment due in June, second installment due in September. That does fund our 26-27 school year.
Thank you for that. Any discussion or questions? All right, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Weinberner?
Aye.
Mr. Noble?
Aye.
Mr. Silve?
Aye.
Ms. Gamrith?
Aye.
Ms. Connell Donahue?
Aye.
Ms. Zenzer?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve item number 2, the architectural service proposal for referendum phase 2?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on this item? And Jen, if you don't mind, for just clarity, this is obviously this is preparation work for phase 2.
See, I can learn. This is, so phase 2 will be the second 2-year phase of the referendum. So we are currently at the end of almost the first year of phase 1. So we still have 1 more year of phase 1 left. But this is the point in time that we are starting to really develop our plans and reviewing our design, meeting with our stakeholders within the building, and kind of drawing up the rest of the designs that we need in order to actually go to bid on this over the course of the next probably year and a half. We might split that into some pieces versus equipment with long lead times versus things that are actually closer to the date of construction. But this is authorizing Perkins & Will to proceed with that phase 2 piece of the referendum.
Thank you. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Zenzer?
Aye.
Ms. Connell Donahue?
Aye.
Mr. Silve?
Aye.
Mr. Weinberner?
Aye.
Ms. Gamrith?
Aye.
Mr. Noble?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 3, may I have a motion to approve the waiving of the first reading of policy 430, revenue and investments?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Gamrith?
Aye.
Mr. Weinberner?
Aye.
Mr. Noble?
Aye.
Ms. Zenzer?
Aye.
Ms. Connell Donahue?
Aye.
Mr. Silve?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. May I have a motion for item number 4 to approve the second reading of policy 430, revenue and investments?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Silve?
Aye.
Mr. Weinberner?
Aye.
Ms. Zenzer?
Aye.
Ms. Connell Donahue?
Aye.
Mr. Noble?
Aye.
Ms. Gamrith?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. For the consent agenda, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 9 as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Connell Donahue?
Aye.
Ms. Zenzer?
Aye.
Ms. Gamrith?
Aye.
Mr. Noble?
Aye.
Mr. Silve?
Aye.
Mr. Weinberner?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great.
Mr. Noble, I
And
just
one-
wanted to take a
no,
quick note.
I was going to say what Yeah, so in regards to the consent agenda, there was one item in regards to that for the architecture service fees for the RMA lobby refresh. And what has been approved there basically is the commitment for the work that has already been done by Perkins and Will within that. And I just wanted to note from the board's perspective, as we discussed kind of our direction to Matt and the team, is to really look at future ideas regarding what we will or will not do in terms of bringing those bids forward back to the board. But in terms of that work, we're really approving basically to pay for the work that has been completed. And at this point, we'd be looking to see information brought back to us in December for what different revisions or ideas within that project that we would look to potentially consider in the future. But I think at this point, we're not approving anything at this moment in time. It would be look to really have you guys to right-size that project and identify its purpose and its specifics around the changes that I think some of that have happened and discussed in workshop.
And if I may, what that means is that the original timeline to go to bid has been press pause, and we will double back to the board in December, and after we've processed all the feedback we got during workshop. And then the board will give us further direction.
Great, thank you. And again, thank you for the work that has been done by the parent committees. And I think both PALS and Applause and the time and energy they've put into it has been really appreciated, as well as the admin and the work that Perkins and Will. I think the ideas have been fantastic. It's just a question on really, again, right-sizing this for what we think. And I think the school and everybody together needs. So thank you. All right, FOIA requests. Let's see. So Jeff Brinkett, 2 of 2 completed. Frank McCormick, 3 of 4 completed. Mike Remolona, 1 of 1 completed. Owen Wang, 4 of 4 completed. Heather Kerr, 1 of 1 completed. Devereaux Johnson, 2 of 2 completed. El Lalit, 1 of 1 completed. Philippe Millen, 1 of 1 completed. At this time, another public participation window of opportunity. So no one looking to take that. Thank you. So if that with announcements, Wednesday, November 26th is Thanksgiving break begins, so no school there or the next couple days. Monday, December 1st, school will resume. Thursday, December 11th, 2025 will be our Finance Committee of the Whole and next Board of Education meeting at 7 p.m. right here at Lake Forest High School West Campus Boardroom. May I have a motion to adjourn the Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board meeting for November 11th, 2025?
Moved.
Second.
May I have a voice vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.